Hi guys, I'll be going over the top cards that you can get from the Wild Resurgence or the Set 21 set. I'll try to be really quick about this. So these are the top cards you should get from the set. The first card I'm going to mention is the Son Goku and the Piccolo, arch rivals fighting together. It's a very generic card that you can use because once you play this card, your leader can get a +5 until the end of your opponent's turn. And then limit 1, you can play this card for 2 red energy, assuming you're on turn 4. And assuming you also have 4 or more red energy, you can play this card and place a Son Goku and a Piccolo from your drop underneath this card. So the idea is to be able to give this guy dual attack because all the stipulation for this card is just to have your leader be red. And then when you place this card, one card from underneath from this card in the drop area, you can switch this card to active mode. So it gives your leader the +5, and then it's also able to give you a dual attack 25k double strike on turn 4, and it's also a 5k combo. So a lot of good things about this card for sure. It's able to, if you play the super combos that are Piccolos coming up. So Piccolo, if you use that super combo, you won't be able to use this card for Raditz, the Raditz super combo for red. But if you play any other cards that use super combo red Gokus or Piccolo, you can essentially give this guy dual attack, including itself. Another reason why I haven't listed one is the Vegito set 2 Vegito. This provides an outlet for that leader to have a 20k base on your opponent's turn as well as your turn, and have double strike as well because the Z leader on the Vegito has double strike naturally. So this card in tandem with this strategy is able to provide any energy as well. Not any energy except for yellow and black for the Vegeta leader. So I think this is definitely a good pickup. Next card I'm going to go over is the Son Goku and Gohan card, Father-Son Solidarity. This card is really good because it is able to be played on turn 4 if you're going first, and turn 3 if you're going second. It provides double strike, and it also has barrier and deflect. So the barrier gets you get the barrier for being a green leader, and I don't see you using this card in any other archetype besides green leaders. So you can't really just splash this in any other deck. But maybe if you're playing the Surge Bully, you can actually play this card as well, because Surge Bully is a green leader and also a red leader. So this doesn't stipulate that your leader has to be mono green. So that's the really cool part about it. Apart from that, it's a 35k base power, and it's also a 5k combo, so you can just combo it for free in the event that you have too many copies of this in your hand. It's also able to clear opponents' battle cards ignoring barrier, and also they discard a card out of the hand. So it does a lot for just 2 energy. It's exactly what green needed to hit really hard in today's metagame, and they made this card really generic, so it's really good in a lot of sets. If you're playing a Son Goku that's green that has a combo cost of 1, like it costs 1 to combo it, your opponents will have to burn a life. So if they have 3 or more life, you can just burn them for the most part. So yeah, it is generic and it's really good. The next card you can play is Cell Pursuit of Despair. This card has it's also 2 energy and double strike, but it also has a really unique ability to be able to remove a lot of markers for free without attacking. So it being a double strike can effectively clear 6 markers off of Unison if the attack goes through. But otherwise, you can just take off 2 markers off of Unison by removing the token that it generates on play, and it generates 2 Cell Junior tokens. And by removing either your token or your opponent's token, assuming it has a combo power, you can actually just remove markers for each one, and it's not once per turn. So if you're staring down a Unison with like 6 markers, you can clear that Unison just by using its ability and attacking it with double strike. So another thing you can do with this, it's a really cheesy move, but if your opponent plays a token blocker such as testing the opposition, and that token blocker has a combo power. I know some of those token blockers do have a combo power, such as testing the opposition and homicidal clones. Those are the 2 cards that I can think of, but also whatever the black token negate also has combo power as well. So if you remove tokens off their side of the board using this ability, oftentimes they'll try to protect their Unison. The biggest strategy I can think of is when they have the baby Unison with specified cost of 3, and they try to use testing the opposition to negate the attack onto the baby Unison. You can just play the Cell on that turn, remove the token, and then remove and then remove markers. So you use their card against them essentially. So that's why I think this card is good. Another good pickup is the Baby 8 drop. It is a 35k base double strike with deflect. You don't have to you can generically use this card because you don't have to play the brainwash cards, but for 2 energy, if all your energy is mono blue and your opponent has 3 or more energy, so this means that if you're on turn 4 you can play this if you're going first, and turn 3 if you're going second. This means that you're able to play a big beater on turn for 2 energy, and since you're playing blue, he is kind of free because blue likes to regenerate energy in generally speaking. And if you play the Vegeta super combo from the GT series, I think it's called Disciplined Warrior. That card is a card that you can just play from the drop area, place it underneath this guy, and then you're able to have a double strike 35k base. So it's a really good finisher. It's a late game strategy. It's also a 5k combo, so it's I don't see this being not played for blue. But I guess if the 35k double strike is not attractive enough and you have to wait until turn 1 or turn 4 to play him, I guess that would be would turn some people off. But I think this card is definitely going to be a staple for blue if you're playing the Vegeta GT super combo. Another card that you can play if you're going to plan on playing the Frieza chain, the new Frieza, Golden Frieza coming out of the set, is you need 4 of these cards, and unfortunately it's a SR, but it's definitely a staple in that regard because it gives your leader +5. It's like a Sensu Bean on your opponent's turn, so you can stop any wide boards that try to go after you, especially if you're a Z leader and you use this card. You're able to be a 25k base, so a lot of battle cards nowadays are 20k dual attacks, so you can basically use this card to basically make it so that they have to combo up to breach the attack. And it's also able to search for the Frieza chain mostly. It's not once per turn, so you can activate multiple copies of this if you have multiple copies of this, and then you're able to search for the Frieza chain, assuming it's a energy cost of 5 or less, and then it pretty much makes it so that you can start your Frieza chain as soon as possible. Another cool thing about this card, and I didn't mention this in the slideshow, is that it is also an extra card that you can play for free, and because you can dump extra cards in your drop area, it makes your Robotic Riposte live, and it also makes your Vegeta counterplay live too. So those are really good cards that you can have. And this card is actually generic. This is the Son Goku, the SSB Son Goku, and the Golden Frieza card. So this card is generic because if it's in your Z energy, and you have if you have a Yellow Saiyan in play, or even a Frieza's army in play, you can essentially just swap. You can just swap the Frieza army or the Yellow Saiyan in play into the Z energy and play this card out. And what it does is when it's played, you can draw a card and then KO something in rest mode, ignoring barrier. So I think Yellow really needed a way to clear things in rest mode, ignoring barrier, and this was one way you could do it without using Final Flash. It's also a 20k base and a 5k combo, so it's really good in that respect. But being able to play this card, even from the Z energy, allows you to generically play this in most yellow leaders as long as you play a Yellow Saiyan. I think that there's a lot of good Yellow Saiyans nowadays. The other cool ability of this, it does so much too, is that it's also able to, if you have 3 or more energy, remove this card from the game and then play a Frieza's army that costs a yellow Frieza that costs 2 or less, or a Goku that costs 2 or less. So this basically means that if you're playing the Frieza army cards in the Golden Frieza, you can actually reanimate the Frieza from the drop area and then use your leader ability on the backside or the front side, send it to the drop area and restand energy and draw a card. So really good in Golden Frieza for sure. I think they definitely made this card for that particular archetype. But if you're playing other leaders that use yellow Gokus, you're playing the Whis leader. The Whis leader can use this card as well by sending one of your yellow Gokus to the drop area. If you're playing the Frieza chain, again, you want to be playing this card as your boss monster. It is a double strike dual attack, and it also has a 30k base, but it also is able to, when it leaves the battle area, it goes to the Z energy instead. So this makes it so that you can reuse them as a Z energy source, so you can play for your Z battle cards, also for your Z leader too. So Z leader does require a steep cost of 3 Z energy to play him, so this is definitely good in that respect. It also has the ability to be able to clear all of your opponent's battle card in rest mode, ignoring barrier. So the Frieza chain does have abilities to ignore barrier and reestablish board control, assuming everything is in rest mode. This does it on play, and it also has deflect, so it's really hard for that. It's impossible for you to stop this card from clearing all the battle cards. Another ability it has is that it's able to play a Frieza swap with an energy cost of 1, assuming that your opponent has 2 or more energy, and you remove this card from your Z energy. So let's say this guy is cleared by your opponent, and it goes to the Z energy. You can remove this card from the Z energy and look at the top 5 cards of your remove the top 5 cards of your deck from the game, and then you're able to play a yellow Frieza with an energy cost of 1 and swap from your hand. So this basically means that your Frieza chain is cheaper, so that you could go into the higher Frieza chains because you don't have to spend 1 energy to play the 1 cost from your hand. Another card you can play, and this card, believe it or not, is generic. All the red leaders play the Beer Super Combo, and the Beer Super Combo is a red and yellow card, and it just checks the top, and it's also able to facilitate the arrival of this card just by paying 1 red and 1 yellow energy. So I guess you do have to play a yellow energy so you can arrival this guy, but it has a really good ability because when it comes into play, you draw a card, and then you choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards, switch it to rest mode, and then you're also able to neg another battle card, or you're going to send by -20 for the turn. So it does a lot. It also has double strike and deflect, so it has a lot of good things going for it, and it's able to replace itself by drawing a card. And if you're playing the red, if you're playing the Beerus, the red Beerus that this card was intended for, it's able to negate the energy exhaust when it's played into the energy area. So even the gray priest can play this card too, because the great priest is also a red god card, so you can actually play this card in there as well. So it does a lot, and it's also an SR for a reason, for that particular reason. So yeah, on to the next one. So for the tournament promos, if you're playing the Frieza chain, again, you want to play this card in your deck, because there's a third option that you can play, so that you could essentially get the Frieza 8. There's no way to search for the Frieza 8 in your deck, so by playing this card, you're able to get that, be able to see the top 5 cards of your deck, add the Frieza 8 to your hand, and then place the card in the bottom of your deck. So if you have a lot of extra cards in your hand, you can essentially make it so that your hand is more active on your opponent's turn, because you can just place a card that you can't play for the turn and put him in the bottom of the deck. Yeah, so actually it puts it on the top of the deck, so even better. Another tournament promo you can get is the Pilaf, Shu, and Mai, which is the Cunning trio. It's basically a power corrupt version of the group leader Pilaf, where you counterplay a battle card attack, and you basically choose one of the battle cards and take out the keywords from it. So that's a good thing about it. It also draws a card, and it also is able to remove a combo card from the combo area on your opponent's turn. So if they don't deal with this card after the counter attack, then you can actually just remove a card with an energy cost of 0. So those are all the super combos, and then place it on the bottom of the deck. So it's able to recycle a super combo from your opponent's area. So this way that they have access to it, but it also makes it so that if they go all in on an attack, you're able to just pretty much use this card as a way to combo out of the 10k, and it also provides a 5k combo as well. So really good card, I think, and so it's going to definitely be a staple for blue as well. Another card, I think this is the last one, the Vegito Volley attack. This card is really good because it's able to clear all your opponent's battle cards, even ignoring barrier. Assuming your opponent doesn't combo out of the attack when you go after their battle cards, this can, in theory, remove all of the opponent's battle cards on the board, assuming that they don't negate the attack on the first one. So I think this card has a lot of potential to be really used in, especially the Kai leader. The Kai leader is able to keep this card on board after using the backside ability to keep all overwhelm cards on board. So if the Kai can use this card, you can also overwhelm again. So if you do have a second copy of this card, you can attempt to go after all their battle cards. So black definitely needed a way to clear all the battle cards and play the control game, and this card effectively does it really well. Okay, and I guess that was another card I forgot to mention, was the Towa Dark Demon Realm Madness. This card is really good because it can be used in a lot of different black leaders, such as Mechikabura, Sherman Salsa, Demigra, Towa, and Deborozino. This card is really good because I guess Champa's being gone, but also it's even with Champa in the meta, I think black will definitely go over to this card because it does provide an extra 15k power. So because it has a natural 5k combo power, and this card gives the the card in battle, a double strike and a plus 10k is definitely going to be used. The only downside of this is that you do have to have a spirit boost mechanic. So if your leader can use a unison, so if those cards, the leaders that I mentioned that uses a unison, you'll have to pay one black energy to get the double strike and the 10k. But other than that, you most likely will not be playing this card for 2 energy, because black has better cards that can be used to essentially give more aggression for the black leaders. So you'll definitely won't see this card being used by being played unless you're playing the Deblora Xeno leader, which can swap into her, but or not swap into her, but use the King's Court promo, or I think it's a promo. You basically crit yourself and then play 2 Demon Realm Race cards from your deck, so you can just play this one. But for other reasons, you won't be playing that. You just be mainly using her for the double strike ability. Okay, and that's all the promos and the WoW Resurgence SRs that you should get. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.